Hi everyone, I am just giving an update. My last video, which was heavily edited with little cartoons and stuff, was several months ago, and I have a new YouTube channel, so this isn't like, oh, sorry if you can hear the noise. That's my laundry, I forgot it was on. Oh well. Uh, it's a new YouTube channel, and the editing and everything, it's too much. It's too much to get me motivated to keep doing it. So I realized that it makes better quality videos if I don't have the laundry going. But if you are bothered by it, then don't watch. And then I'll just keep doing this, because if I have to wait till the laundry's done and I have to edit everything, then I clearly won't do this. So this is a new method where I just attempt to talk at the camera and see if I can get the message across in as much of a straightforward way as I possibly can, without editing, because I don't want to edit. It was taking so much time. Anyways, so basically, I am an American. I live in New Zealand, and I've been here for 20 years. And right now, I am going through a little bit of a life transition where, oh my gosh, the sound of the machine is quite loud. Maybe I'll turn it off. I'm going through a bit of a transition in my life, and I am actually house sitting. Let's get rid of this. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. I'm actually house sitting, and that's how I'm living. I'm not paying rent. I am taking care of a friend's house. They're new friends, and we've actually become friends through this whole house sitting scenario. They found out about a year ago that I was really unhappy in a house I was living in. I had a really bad flatmate. She was very controlling and odd, and I found out later that she's kind of known for doing that, but at the time, I didn't know that. And Wellington's a small place, so eventually you know someone who knows someone, and yeah, she apparently kicks people out of her flats a lot. I didn't get kicked out, but I was getting pushed towards that, apparently, I think. Yeah, because she pushed me out. She pushed me to leave. So I lived in that flat for 3 months, and then I moved into a different flat, which I was in for 9 months, and that was weird as well. I guess that when you're in a desperate situation and you're leaving, you're trying to be safe, you know, to improve your situation, you end up in a worse situation. So I met the people who own this house at a gig. I was seeing Chelsea Wolfe, one of my favorite musicians, and I was just saying how unhappy I was in my living situation with that flatmate, the first flatmate, the one who kicks people out. And this person was just really lovely, and they were like, well, I'm going overseas for a little bit, so if you want to get away from your flatmate, you can come live with me, and we won't be there, and we need a house sitter, so that works out. In the end, they ended up giving it to someone else because one of their friends was actually homeless for a period of time, and they needed the house sitting more than I did. And all right, I'm gonna go back to the couch. It's hard to hold up my hand. I normally have a little stand for my phone, but that's not happening. Okay. Where was I? So the house sitting ended up being postponed until now, which is about a year later, and they're going on vacation again, and they needed a house sitter, and I just happened to have been coming to the end of my lease for that second place that didn't turn out to be so good, so I'm living in their house, and they're kind of here at the moment, not today, but they're kind of like coming and going on little trips around New Zealand, and then they're going to go overseas for a little bit, and I'm going to be living here, taking care of their place until I go to the States myself, which is where I'm from Portland originally, and I have plans to go back to Portland for about 3 months, and I leave in about a month. So that is kind of what's happening with me, and I guess what my channel's kind of become about, because is what's happening in my life. But yeah, I've struggled to want to film anything, because like I'm not really an influencer. I'm just someone who, I don't know, I just felt like this would be fun. And I enjoy editing videos, and I enjoy it to a certain extent, but actually so much work gets put into videos that you see, you have no idea. And I just, like, I have a job. I'm also a musician, and I'm like finishing an album, my third album. I go by Nicole Andrews online. That's my music name. That's just my name. And so you can find my music that way. So yeah, I'm producing an album. I'm I'm getting ready to go overseas for multiple months, and I do want to do YouTube, but I don't want to edit things. So I'm gonna try and do this like talking head thing, so that I'm not worrying about the editing too much. I'm gonna go through and edit out like personal things in their house, so that you know, they maintain their own privacy. They didn't sign up to be on my YouTube channel, so that's definitely going to be some editing for that. But like, I'm not going to chop and paste my ums and ahs out of out of everything, because that's what I've been doing, and it's actually stopped me from wanting to continue doing YouTube. And I want to do YouTube. It's fun. So bear with me with the sounds, with the dryer and everything. I'm just going to try and get better at keeping my brain focused enough to say what it is I'm going to say. But that's the other thing, because I am also just a normal person. So I'm finding like doing this content that I like don't know what I'm here to talk about. What am I doing? What do people want to talk to me about? Who knows? Like, I thought that I would start doing this and then it would like come to me, but I don't really have an audience yet. So I'm not like having any engagement, so I don't really know what feels fun or whatever. I'm not doing it enough yet either. So I think that once I get into a bit of a routine, then I'll be able to tell what I want to do. And I guess all that editing has prevented me from developing a routine, because like I spend the whole weekend day doing editing, where I should be spending that whole day doing music. So, or, you know, whatever else. I also make like websites and stuff. There's a bunch of stuff, that editing is interfering with. I am not a professional video editor. I am trying to be, a content creator, which is, I guess that's part of it, but you know what I mean. I want to be doing the content and not the editing. And I think that eventually people, you know, they hire someone, they get an assistant or whatever, but I'm not to that point, and I don't want to burn out before I get to that point. So, this is what's happening. So, oh my God, I'm rambling. So in the last video, which like I said was highly edited, little cartoons and stuff in it, I was doing animation and stuff. Like, I'm just going too overboard. But in that video, I was talking about how I was going to be living in the house sitting situation, and how I was going to take you with me, and I was going to, you know, show you how I'm packing and showing you my budget and stuff. But after a couple of months of not creating videos, I've kind of realized some boundaries I have with that. Like, I don't really want to be talking to you, the random internet, about my finances. You know, maybe eventually I'll find that some things are okay, but right now, like, it's like this vast expanse where nobody is coming back and saying anything to me, and it just feels like anything could happen. So I'm not going to be talking to you about my budget. And then also, like, it just takes so much time to make videos that, like, if I were to film myself packing, I'd have to like set it up all aesthetically, and it's so much extra work. Anytime you see a content creator doing something and showing you how to do it, it's taking them so much longer than it would normally. And then you kind of have to work out how to make it interesting, or like, what's the point? Why am I showing you how to pack? What am I bringing to the table that someone else hasn't already shown you? Um, and it's like, do I want to just be like a travel content creator? No, I don't actually travel that much. It's just that, this year I am, but next year I'm going to be settling back into Wellington. So they say that content creators who talk about themselves don't really go very far. You have to be like particularly interesting or have something special that makes people care. And I probably don't have those things, and I don't really care if I do. And yet I don't want to talk to you about packing. So I'm going to have to develop a thing that makes me interesting, and I don't know what that thing is yet. And so yeah, we're gonna just go off of the personality for a little while. Hope that helps. And yeah, so I moved into this flat, or the house. I've moved into the house sitting situation out of the old flat. It was terrible. We had a fire, and then like a week later, Wellington had these like tremendous floods. And meanwhile, I had like a week and a half until I was moving, and I was like, oh my God, get me out of here. So fortunately, my actual apartment didn't get flooded, but there were a lot of people in Wellington whose houses were really maybe not destroyed, but like some of their stuff was destroyed. There were a few houses that were destroyed with like slips and stuff. So I was really lucky. But that was kind of like the cumulative, like the final hurrah for that flat, sort of like for my year of really bad flat experiences. And the flatmate, so in the last video, I was talking about how my flatmate and I had like gone back and forth about whether or not we were going to move from the flat. She did end up moving, and it just like it ended really badly. And yeah, she was like spying on me in my bedroom one day, and this is why I can't live with other people anymore if I can avoid it. I've had lots of living situations where the flatmates were really nice and they became my best friends, but just like the last year for sure, and then like a couple years leading up to that, I've just had really challenging situations, like really odd people. And I kind of, my patience for that is very low. I don't want to have to try to, I just want to live my life. I don't want to live my life where I've got this weird person who is living with me who might have a crush on me, and now I got to deal with that or whatever. That's just like some examples. That's not the last example or anything, but yeah, like I just want a normal life, and I found that living with flatmates hasn't brought me that. So that's what has led me to house sitting, where I can save money, kind of get ahead financially if I can. I mean, like rent is a huge chunk of money, but it's not like life changing or anything. For a couple of months, it'll really help me get ahead, but it will be really easy since I'm on vacation and vacation in another country where the exchange rate is so much greater than our rate, that it could be very easy to just spend that money. So I think that my whole hope for the next several months is basically not getting into debt, which I did go a little bit into debt last time I went to America because of the exchange rate, and I was there for many, many months, just like this, because it's a perk I get at work where I can go and do this. So yeah, not getting into debt, that would be great. And yeah, come back to Wellington afterwards and just live my life. Have a home be happy, go to gigs, do the things I like to do, see my friends, buy a house maybe. I can buy a house. I just haven't found one. I did actually go looking again last week and ended up if I do any editing, I'll put a little video in of the place I looked at, of me crouching around on the second floor. It was like this studio apartment, and the bedroom was like a loft bedroom, and I had to crouch down to walk around in there. It was crazy, and I love that apartment complex, but that was not gonna fly. So that's kind of what I'm up against when I'm looking for a flat, just these like really creative things. And that flat is more expensive than like my sister's house, just because New Zealand prices are much greater than Portland prices. You might be asking, why don't I move back to Portland? Well, because I've lived in New Zealand for 20 years. This is where I live. So that's the end of that. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to Portland for a couple months, come back here and get my life kind of up and running again. This kind of little trip back to see my family is something that weighs on me if I go too long without seeing them. So it's gonna be really good to like get this done. Like last time I was gonna go, it was like last time I went, it was like 3 years ago. And I had kind of tried to plan a few trips in between and then couldn't do it because I was finishing my master's. And then once I finished it, I had to get a new job. And like, I didn't know, I couldn't like be like, hey, I've got this trip for a couple months in America. The job I have right now is like, I've got this perk where I can go and do this. And I did end up getting a job within the same company, but I didn't know that at the time. So, yeah, it weighs on me when too much time passes and I haven't gone to see my family. It's like a quite expensive task where you have to set aside so much time and work has to be on board and everything. So this will be good. And then not paying rent will be great. Having a vacation after was such a stressful time. So like I've been in this flat a few weeks now, but like the first, basically up until the other day, I was just exhausted, just the most tired I've ever been. And I think it was just that I was up, like my cortisol levels must have been so high just from existing in such a stressful environment, just constantly being on alert with the bad flatmates and them just being freaking weird, always watching me and controlling and stuff. So when I moved here, I finally felt safe, and yeah, it really makes a difference where you live. So this is me trying to kind of fix that in my life and maybe get ahead, at least not in debt, and yeah, move on with my life when I get back. So please follow me. Again, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll work it out eventually. And yeah, see you later. Bye.